Welcome back to the vendor table.
Hello.
Was that one of your trying hard intros?
No.
Okay.
No. I'm saving those for a special occasion.
Okay, great. Awesome. Well, we have a guest.
We do.
It's our friend Adriana.
Hi.
From the Pre Nup Podcast. So, fun fact, we were guests on Adriana's podcast, like 5 months ago?
Probably about 5 months ago.
Yeah, it's been that long.
I know.
We were a little podcast, kind of, trying to grow
a little
and all
baby
that
podcast.
Okay, and this one messaged us. She was like, I'm a big fan, like, love your show, want to come on my podcast. We're like, hell yeah, sure. We were never asked to be on a podcast before. You asked us on your, and we had a ton of fun on your podcast.
I had so much fun with you guys. And might I say, obviously I'm a big fan of you guys from Jump, but if it doesn't work out in, the photography industry, you guys could just do comedy forever because I just love listening to you talk about anything.
Don't inflate my ego any more than it already is.
I must.
My head is gigantic right now. Just, geez. All right. Well,
thank you for that.
Of course.
So
obviously we were big fans, so we brought you here.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
All the way from Philly.
All the way, yes.
She drove all the way here just to come and hang.
So great.
It's amazing.
Honored.
So before we kind of get into everything, we have a fun episode in store. So it's all about the influence of pop culture on weddings. Okay. Your podcast is amazing. It always integrates like pop culture and like...
It's pretty funny.
Yes. Planning tips and tricks, all that. That's what the Prenup is about. But I want you to kind of tell us a little bit about yourself, like how you got into the industry, what the Prenup podcast...
The Penis Podcast.
The Penis Podcast.
We're off to a great start.
Amazing. It's like...
Well, there's two podcasts. There's the Prenup and the Penis, but we'll talk about the Prenup today. But
tell us all about the Penis Prenup Podcast. Yes.
So the Greenup was founded, like many things are, in the COVID times. So I was a wedding planner by trade. When shit went down, I was like, will my job exist anymore? So kind of had to pivot and figure out what I was going to do, but quickly kind of realized that weddings would still exist, maybe in a different format, but there was a lot of, you guys will remember, micro weddings happening at the time, which are kind of still happening, which is really cool. But I noticed that people really just kind of needed help or to commiserate or whatever. So I wanted to give a platform or create a platform for people to kind of get and give advice and tips. So, I wanted to bring professionals like you guys in, photographers, whomever, to just give people some insight about what they can and should expect for their wedding. And yeah, here we are today.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, I think we all had like an identity crisis during COVID.
Yeah. Big time.
Are we still going to have jobs?
Yeah, that was just scary times.
Is this the end?
It was our time.
For all of those like photographers or, anybody in the industry, vendors in the industry that started after COVID, fuck you.
Yeah, literally, because it just boomed beyond that. So.
It was the apocalypse.
Yeah,
truly.
But no. So it's really cool that you're lending your expertise in form of a podcast. How's it doing? Is it like doing really well, everything like that?
It's going.
The TikTok is awesome. I love, like every time I pop on the TikTok and the reels, it's always like great tips and tricks and stuff like that, and like predicting trends, which we love here.
Love it.
All that stuff. So tell us a little bit about how the podcast's going, like what you have in store coming up.
Yeah, so I absolutely love the podcast. It's the little engine that could, it's growing a little bit every week, and I love, I'm sure you guys can resonate with this too, but every time you see like new followers coming in and people reaching out and saying like this really helped. So that's the best part of it, but it's going amazingly. Absolutely love it. And on the horizon, I'm starting to bring in more real brides, so like 2024, 2025 brides too, because a lot of times I'll have professionals come in, and that is amazing and it's so great, but it's also nice to hear someone who's going through the process.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And maybe what they did, and there's people who listen all over the country, so a lot of times I'll have, New York, New Jersey, people have a certain idea about weddings because they're their own bird for sure. But having vendors from all over and brides from all over, whether they're doing destination or at home, wherever they are, that's been really cool. This week I'm recording with a friend of mine who's actually a therapist, so we're going to be going through
that's important.
the psychology of being a bride or a groom, planning your wedding. Yeah, why we do the things we do and spend way too much money. And
I mean that, and then on top of it, the amount of stress that's involved. Like, I feel like I didn't even have a traditional wedding, and I still needed a therapist afterwards.
Totally, yeah, and that's the biggest thing. I'm sure you guys hear it from your couples too. Like, I am so stressed, and that's like the most common factor. I feel like couples.
I think as a vendor, often at times we're therapists to our clients.
Yeah, literally. Unpaid therapists, yes.
I mean, I could probably, I don't even know. I probably had dozens of clients like call me with like concerns or like questions or things like 0-hour questions like, Mike, like what should I do here? Like transportation wise, things like that. Like I'm freaking out about that. And like as a photographer, we're in the trenches with them and everything like that. As a planner, it's the same thing. So you almost like want to reassure them.
How many times have you like talked someone out of a panic attack?
Oh, jeez. It should be on the resume. It should be on the resume.
You know what? Photographers, I have to say, like they're my favorite vendors for many reasons. They're like, to me, they're the most important vendor. And
I mean, I'm not gonna argue that.
But it's like, I think anyone would say, like, without your pictures, like, what is your wedding? You know what I mean? Like, you can almost do anything else yourself. You'll struggle a little bit, it'll be more difficult, but you really need your photographers. But they have so many jobs that people just don't really understand. Honestly, you should charge a concierge fee on top of everything, because I feel like people always go to you because you know how to navigate things.
It is true, because a photographer is the one who lays out like the photo timeline and navigates throughout the day. Even if a planner's there, it's usually like up to the photographer to kind of determine like the start times of certain things. And like you always hear like hair and makeup is waiting for when the photographer arrives, their time when they're arriving and all that stuff. And then, it predates everything. So,
absolutely.
We'll take
Cue all the vendors getting upset going, what about me?
They're all important. They're all fabulous. And
we'll take a little credit.
We all work together to create the perfect day.
It's to the common goal. You know what I mean?
We're just a little higher up on the food chain.
Yes, for sure.
Don't at me.
So what's your favorite thing about wedding planning?
Favorite thing about wedding planning? I mean, aside from the relationship building, like just getting to be a part of this little family that's going through the wedding, whether that's, an actual family or the friends that are part of the process, the couple themselves, like you just feel like you get to know them on a different level because, to your point, like the stress takes over your life. And when you're wedding planning, it really does. It takes over like your entire being. It's like a second job. So it's always top of mind. So I love that aspect of just always kind of like being a little go-to for someone and getting to understand their trials and tribulations and their triumphs, most importantly. But other than that, because like obviously building relationships with people is fabulous in any industry, I wouldn't consider myself a romantic typically.
Oh my God.
There is.
Me either.
There is something I love about like just the fact that you're coming together to celebrate this like commitment to each other for the rest of your life. And the weddings that I tend to do are typically a little more elaborate, even if they're not like super extravagant. They're usually not like, your city hall type. And I just think it's so sweet that people put in like their Sunday best, their best foot forward. They're going to look the best that they can. They're going to like practice their dances. They're just taking it very seriously, their love. So I love watching that, and I never tire of it.
Let me ask you a question. So you said you're not like super romantic. I'm not either. Yeah. It actually drives my husband kind of crazy. But I like immediately become a puddle when I watch other people be romantic with each other.
Yes, Lauren, I think it's
Doesn't that make you romantic though?
No, but not in my own relationship. Do you know what I mean?
Pat asked me to cuddle last night, and I said, ew, no. And I put my foot on his arm, and that was as much physical touch as I felt like giving him last night.
It's true. Like, I love it, and I love love.
He's gonna kill me.
Sorry, Pat. No, there is something to that, though. And it's not that I don't adore my husband. I do. I married the man.
She has different love languages.
Yeah, like, I'm not looking for romantic gestures for myself, but I like watching them.
Yeah.
All right.
I fall to pieces when I see people's wedding days like unfold.
Totally.
I know you do.
Oh, I'm a big
I've
mush.
seen- you're a
I'm
big
a
baby.
hopeless. I'm a hopeless romantic.
What's
Yeah.
like the moment for you guys in a wedding that really just like...
Oh my God, it's the mother-son dance.
Father-daughter for me,
I lose
or
it.
first look with dad. Always.
God.
It,
Yeah,
like,
First look with dad. When they
Yeah.
if they do private vows and they're really heartfelt.
Oh,
private vows, if they're really emotional,
Yes. Yeah.
definitely hit you in the feels.
for sure.
But it's
Ever
always
since-
always
yeah.
a dance. It's always got to be the parent
Ever
dance.
since I
It's
had
al-
my son, dude, it just hits different.
Yeah.
now.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I don't have kids, so I can only imagine, because that's mine too. Like, the honor dances just wreck me.
Regular first looks too kind of blow me away. Sometimes
Yeah.
like the ones that are like just they melt, like the groom melts.
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah,
just
when
like
someone cries,
oh,
it's like,
like, you know, I've seen like the grooms that like just bend down and like they're in tears, and I'm
that's
like,
when they double over. That's when you know. I'm like,
I'm like,
Damn.
I'm like, I got it. I got it.
Oh, it's beautiful. It really is.
Yeah. So there's a lot of good moments on a wedding day. Obviously, that I'm a fucking mush. I don't care. I don't care. I'm the sappiest person alive.
Absolutely. Nothing wrong with that.
Well, speaking of like kind of sappy love and all that stuff, we love a good movie. Okay. I know you talk all about it on the Pre Nup. Okay. You literally dissect movies.
We do.
Some of my favorite episodes are when you're like I listen. So some of my favorite episodes are where you're dissecting movies. Like, would you just do My Best Friend's Wedding?
The last one we did was my best friend's wedding.
So I'm not gonna lie, it's not one of my favorites on there. But we recently ran a poll, like a bracket. We
Yes.
actually ran a bracket, a movie bracket.
Yes, I remember this.
Well, yeah,
Alright.
you saw it.
So
Yeah, you played.
your episode's gonna come out in March. Like, we're recording, it's February, but like it's gonna come out in March.
We're in the time machine.
It's March Madness basketball. Okay, so we're gonna talk all about like the bracket that we did with movies.
So good.
Perfect for this. Okay, we had 16 movies that were on there. I think My Best Friend's Wedding was like 7. Okay, but the one that came out on top was Bridesmaids.
It is so fabulous. And there's a reel that you guys have that makes me shit in the street laughing. It is so funny, that scene. So if anyone hasn't seen it, can you just explain this reel that you guys have?
Jesus.
It makes me die. Sometimes I just go back and watch it for a laugh for myself.
Basically talking about some crazy wedding stories that people had written into us, and one of them was a bride had she was feeling bloated, so she took like
A laxative.
laxatives. She was drinking champagne.
She had a
She had
Xanax,
coffee,
yeah.
like the whole nine, and then it ended with she almost shit herself walking down the aisle. So Mike.
That was my favorite. That's my favorite all-time edit I've ever made to a video. I cut it and I sent it to her.
I was
and
screaming.
I sent it to her, and then she sent it to her husband, to Pat, and like she was just like Pat's screaming in the bathroom. Like he was like watching it on the toilet. Like just like it's one of my favorite
really
clips.
gonna hate this episode.
No. It's so good. It's so good. I was on a plane yesterday coming home, and there was a man in front of me, and I could tell that he selected like Spanish for his language, but he selected Bridesmaids, and he was an older gentleman. He was howling. Like, he couldn't control
The
himself.
movie is so good.
It's
so good.
Like, do you think it deserves the title? Like, at least from our viewers, it was voted the best movie. Okay, the #1
Wedding movie.
Wedding movie.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
is there a wedding movie that you love that's like your number one, your go-to, you have to watch over and over?
So my best friend's wedding is my movie. Like,
That's your number one?
And I have so many. Like Bridesmaids is in my top 10 for sure. But there is something about my best friend's wedding that I am just obsessed with. And it's probably my second favorite movie of all time. And I can watch it all the time. Like,
no, it's your comfort movie.
it's a comfort movie for sure. That Wedding Crashers is also a comfort movie.
Yeah.
Wedding
for me.
Crashers is so good.
Yeah,
It's so good.
Wedding Crashers lost to Bridesmaids in the final, and I was shocked by that.
I was shocked.
Surprising. Yeah.
Shocked by that, and it almost got upset like 2 or 3 times by like some movies that I was like, really?
Really?
Yeah, I was like, really? Like, Wedding Crashers is my. It is a 1 and 2. It is a 1 and 2 with Bridesmaids because Bridesmaids is fucking hysterical.
It's so good.
There's so many moments that I quote from that movie. Like anytime I take a sip of lemonade, I'm like, that's fresh. Every fucking time.
I almost exclusively call my friend Steve Stove.
When you're in a client.
Yeah.
Like
Stove,
anytime.
that's a stupid name.
Oh, it's like anytime I talk to my wife, I'm like, oh, we gotta wait till you get paid. It's like, help me, I'm poor.
No, it is. It's so quotable, that movie.
It's so good.
There's a lot of things that I think I say that are in my lexicon that I don't even register that are from Bridesmaids.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's a good one.
I think it does deserve the number one spot, like if I'm being unbiased, but God, no, I do. I love my best friend's wedding so much. I'm a Julia Roberts girl.
I mean, who?
Yeah, I think it went up against.
If you don't like Julia Roberts, like go fuck yourself.
What was
You're
her
a
other
heartless piece of shit.
What was her
Absolutely.
other wedding movie? It was
Runaway Bride.
I think it went head to head with Runaway Bride.
Did it? See, I'm not as big a fan of Runaway Bride as I am of my best friend's wedding, but still, excellent.
Solid movie. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Lauren, you got the next question.
Yeah. So, talking about pop culture, how do you see pop culture affecting the wedding industry this year?
This year, so just taking it from 2023, even 2022 with some stuff, but I would say, let's see. We are seeing a lot of, I know you guys talked about this too, but a lot of people, to my enjoyment, are kind of forgoing bridal party in the traditional aspect, which, love to say it. And we're seeing like a little bit of that in the celebrity sphere, so to speak. But I think there's 2 ends of pop culture happening. There's this like traditional classic thing happening, and then this other thing where it's like, no, all of the formalities are going to go by the wayside, and there's not really an in between right now. So people either are like weddingophiles who are obsessed with it and they want like the big cake and the whole 9, or they're going like super modern minimal, and that to me is a little bit harder to pull off because it's like that quote, costs a lot to look this poor. Like if you want to do it right and have it look like the flowers were plucked fresh from the garden, like you can't actually just pluck the flowers from the garden. You need a really good florist to get in there and like make
it look whimsical.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The wildflower look is very tough.
It's hard.
It's tough to photograph too. It looks pretty as shit, but it's like sometimes they're like super loose. You want them to look like nice and everything.
Yeah.
So like I've had a few like wildflower weddings. We did one together that Hometown did at Quandra Hall.
Yes.
They like Hometown Flower Co. is a company here that they specialize in that stuff, and they're incredible. But I know it's like a specialty to have that look.
They like transformed the whole reception room into this like whimsical garden space where the vines were hanging from the ceiling, and it was like wild.
Yeah, a few Long Island vendors were like, I'm not a huge fan of that venue, but like it looked
good.
Amazing.
They just transformed the whole thing.
It looked amazing. So that's it's like a good florist knows that shit.
It's so cool when they can do that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that came from like the Bridgertons.
Oh
of
God,
it all,
yeah,
too.
that's huge right now.
Bridgerton core is like, people are big into that, and a lot of a lot of what people see from movies. And even now we're in our red carpet season, our awards season. So a lot of the fashions from last year's red carpets we're kind of seeing spill over into either brides or guests. So that's always fun to see too. I love seeing the fashions, and I like people taking a little bit of a risk too. I think it's pretty fun.
Yeah. I think I'm specifically with like dresses.
Yes.
Definitely seeing a lot more like risque.
Yeah.
And I'm living for it.
Love it. Love it. Like, be hot, be sexy, get the deep V down to the button. You know, it's fun.
A nice high slit.
Is this a Transformer dress? Is one of
No,
those
these are really, it's just like,
I like a Transformer dress.
I like a Transformer dress. But a lot of the dresses, we're talking like very like plunging necklines or cutouts or like high slits that are very untraditional, more riskier, you know?
Yes.
A little bit more sultry, sexy. And then you're also seeing like the Galia Le Havre gowns that now have like they're sheer, and you can see right through them, and it's basically like a bodysuit that you're wearing underneath, and you can see pretty much everything.
And if you got it, flaunt it, do it up big. I think it's so hot, but it's that like the poles that we were just talking about. It's like these like really sexy sheer dresses that like leave little to the imagination, which I like, by the way. No, not.
And then there's the other whole side of the world that is like, that's so gross.
The modesty, like the hot.
Where's your modesty?
Yeah. You know, modest is the hottest. Not always. You know, we've seen some.
Slut it up.
Slut it up. Why not?
Show a little thigh.
Absolutely.
What are we talking about?
Well, you getting a little slutty on our wedding
Yeah.
day. What if no other day to do it? You know, you gotta. If you're not gonna do it then
Mike's just like, where am I?
What is going on right now?
How did we get here?
Jesus. All right, so
Mike's over here clutching his pearls. Oh my God.
Oh, the humanity. Well, all right. So, I've seen celebrity wedding influence and things like that, where you had the Kardashians. Like I remember, what was it? Kim Kardashian had the big flower wall and stuff like that, which was like $1 million flower wall.
Yep.
We started to see trends come and go. Like now, as photographers, we see a lot of a lot of black and white weddings are coming back. Things like champagne towers are becoming popular out of nowhere. Like we're like, oh,
Where'd these come from?
Also,
Thanks,
Pinterest. Careers are being made. Wedding day content creators are coming about. So we've seen a lot of big trends come and go throughout the years. I'm skipping down a little bit on our question line, but is there a wedding trend that you see really becoming a staple for not only this year, but in years to come?
So one of the things that you said, the wedding day content creators, definitely one that, whether it's a forever thing or it's like a semi-permanent thing, but so many people that I talk to are bringing them in, and I think it's great for everyone. We talked about this a little bit the last time we spoke, but yeah, I think it's definitely an asset for like all vendors for sure. So that is definitely one. I, selfishly would love to see that like formal bridal party thing ride into the sunset forever and like not come back, just because it creates so much unnecessary bullshit. But also, whatever people want to do.
You can do whatever you want to do, and we'll be happy.
Yeah, but wedding trends that I think that have come about like as of recently that I think will kind of stand the test of time. I don't think people will, for a majority, go back to that formal cake cut where they're coming into the center and doing it. We still see it a little bit, but we're seeing a lot of those like the garter toss leaving.
That's
like
gone.
A great thing to go.
Yeah.
I haven't done one in forever.
You know what's interesting though? I haven't either. I was talking to a planner in Tennessee, and she said like probably 75% of her couples do it still. So I guess it's just
regional.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's very regional. Like weddings are regional.
Totally.
I mean, like, and I do feel like certain regions, like, not to sound biased, but the tri-state area is usually first to market.
Yes.
As is California. It's usually, those are the flag bearers of any wedding tradition or any trend is usually seen in these markets.
Absolutely.
And then it kind of trickles down.
Yes.
So it doesn't surprise me that it hasn't made its way down south.
Yeah.
But I could see it happening in the next few years.
God, I hope so. You know, it's just the skeeviest. It's the worst. I
learned about the whole garter thing and like the history behind it, and I was like,
gross.
Okay.
What?
Yeah, there's a lot of history on that stuff.
There's a lot of weird stuff that happened in the days of yore, especially pertaining to weddings, that overstayed their welcome.
Yeah.
You know, we could have got rid of them a long time ago, but
Some of it's a little weird.
But people get pissed off, and you guys know, like, there are psychopaths in the comments section always. So, you know, you just have to let it ride. But like, these men will come in and they're these like grandpas, and they're like, oh, what's next? You're gonna not let the woman take the man's name. You're ruining tradition. I'm like, buddy, I'm not ruining anything. People can do whatever the hell they want. Calm yourself down. Come on.
This is what's wrong with America today.
Seriously, they're nuts. They drive me crazy.
Oh my God.
Is this where somebody just chimes in and says like, okay, boomer? It's like, 'cause that's like legitimately what it is. It's
okay.
People don't like change. And like, I think that's the industry standard is like, I show up as a vendor, right?
Yeah.
Like this is from a vendor perspective, but like I show up, I am known for dressing pretty well to a wedding and stuff like that.
That's what he's known for.
She's giving me compliments. She wants to bite her tongue so hard. Okay? But I do dress quite nice as a vendor. I wear a blazer, a tie, like, you know, a vest, like, you know, I dress really, really nice for a wedding. But I understand the comfort level that vendors want to have on a wedding day,
sure,
where they're, you know, a little bit more comfortable, especially on a hot summer day and stuff like that. So I get it from both perspectives. Mm-hmm. I've seen at weddings where the guests, like I've attended a wedding as a guest where there's people talking about like the vendors, and it's like, what are they wearing? Like,
yes.
It's like they're way too relaxed for an event or something like that. It's like, yo, chill out.
It's such a thing. I know people get really bent out of shape about it. It's usually people like in the generation above us that I've noticed people getting like freaked out about it, but they're not wedding guests, the vendors, like they're working, you know? So I don't know. I see both sides. If it's a black tie affair and, you know, you
wearing
come
jeans
in,
or something. Yeah.
Like you come in with your overalls and sandals. It's like, all right, maybe we could have, you know, put a closed toe shoe on for the day. But I don't know. Nothing is that serious.
To me, it's just like, why are you worried about that right now?
Who cares?
So it's literally the last thing.
Go have a shot and shut up.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah, it would relieve a lot of people's stresses. And it always just bogs my mind how concerned other people are with like someone else's wedding day. It's like, you're here, you're a guest, you're getting free food and an open bar. Chill
The judgment
out.
sometimes is like wild.
A lot of judgment in the wedding industry.
A lot, yeah.
I mean, as we talk about a show that we judge things.
I was just
we
gonna
judge
say,
everybody
like,
on everything.
I am joking. I know.
Just keeping it real. Just keeping it
Hurting
real.
anyone?
No.
But it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, we're there to perform a job. It's our job. As long as we don't look like a bunch of, like, we just rolled out of a dumpster. Totally. And I'm not wearing, like, I don't know, flip-flops and, like...
Yeah.
Yes.
As long as I don't look like a garbage person.
Yes, I'm with you. Do you guys talk with your clients about what you're going to wear? I've had people ask.
Yeah, I've had clients ask, like, you know, can you dress, you know, and I'm like, I always dress appropriately. Most of my clients now don't ask that because they know I've been in the game a long time. Sure. And I think I post a lot of stories behind the scenes. I'm wearing a tie and stuff like that, so people know. But like when I was first starting out, like people would like be like, you know, it's black tie optional, or it's like, you know, business casual if it was a beach wedding, you know, things like that. So there's there's certain ones that still will let me know. But usually as a vendor, we're dressing appropriately. My team dresses appropriately. My team knows what to wear and stuff like that. So I think it's more for the youngins out there.
The tops.
Yeah.
Man, like I remember when I told you this before. I remember when I was working for a studio, and there was a person that they had shadow us to like decide or determine if they were going to be a good fit as a second shooter. For the company, and this person showed up wearing like sweatpants, flip-flops, a backwards hat, and like it was a mess. And I remember like the girl who was working as the lead shooter was just like, go home.
Yeah.
You can't look like this.
Yeah.
You can't be here and look like this. No.
Yeah, it's not a good look, literally not a good look. And I think you have to be respectful of the dress code and in some capacity. And to your guys' point, like, especially when you're shooting or you're working the wedding, like on a hot day, you can really be drenched. So if someone is expecting you to wear a blazer, it's like, well, good luck to you with my stench because things are going to get real. But, you know, like even if you're going to wear a button-down short sleeve or whatever, just generally respectful of the dress code is fine. You don't have to go all out.
100%. 100%. Yeah. So getting off of dress code.
How do we get there?
Yeah, I don't know. We just like this is what's great. Like we did this on your podcast too. We just like went on tangents. All right,
ticks.
So yeah, we did talk about ticks. Jesus, like
I'll still never understand this.
No.
I'll never understand the thing with the ticks. There's always so many people taking photos in fields, and it's like they don't worry about the ticks. Like you want to be rolling around in high grass and taking these romantic photos.
Laying in the field, like frolicking in the meadow and stuff like that.
Tell me your skin doesn't crawl.
I'm like, I see those photos of couples like head to head laying in like high grass, and I'm like, they are covered.
Yeah, they're gonna need to get those tweezers later.
I have them attached to my keys.
You got it. You got to.
I have a thing. It's called a tick key. It's on my keys because I'm so fucking scared of them. I hate them.
Yeah,
they are. They're frightening.
They're all over here. It's like, so.
All right, I'm sorry. I won't talk about that anymore.
Fuck ticks.
Moving on.
Fuck the ticks.
Fuck ticks.
All right, so getting into it. You've asked us this question, so we're going to ask this right back to you.
Let's hear it.
Do you have a dream celebrity couple that you would want to work or help plan their wedding?
So I do.
Taylor.
It's got to be Taylor.
Guess what? I do. I am a Taylor Swift fan. I've seen her in concert a bunch. I really am not one of those people who's like, die, Taylor.
You're not a Swiftie?
I would consider myself a Swiftie. I don't know.
Swiftie light?
Swiftie light.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I don't know, what hospital she was born in. Like, people know, like, which track of the album or song. I know a lot of her music, most of her music, probably. I've been listening to her since I'm, like, 13 or something. So I do. I love her. I think she should pull an Oprah and, like, never get married. Like, just have Travis as her Stedman. But Oprah would be great. I would love to plan an Oprah wedding. Oh my God, that would be sick.
I didn't see that comment at all.
Oprah is, I hadn't thought of it before, but that would be awesome because unlimited budget. She's got the best taste. She's beautiful. That would be so fabulous. Like any of the divas I would be down for. I'm a diehard diva girl, so like would love to do Cher's wedding. Celine Dion's health is not great now, but like once it's better, if she decided to remarry, R.I.P. Renee. I would love to do that. I would love to get into like Lady Gaga, any of the divas, Mariah. They're all single too, which is
wild.
Good news for me.
Because no one deserves them.
That's true. No one does deserve them. And maybe they should just be brides and like not actually marry. But I would love to plan like a fabulous event for them. I also, my Bravo people, I love Paige and Craig from Paige is from Summer House and Craig is from Southern Charm. So they're like Bravo celebrities. That's very niche. But I love
That
them.
is very niche.
They're an actual couple on a trash TV shows that I watch, but I do love them. They're like beautiful people.
Well, actually, speaking of trash TV, because it is out now, it's started up again. Let's talk Love is Blind.
Let's talk Love is Blind.
What is happening?
Well, it's pop culture. It's relevant.
What is happening?
I think that the biggest question about this is, first of all, I think it's fucking ridiculous. I cringe when I watch this, but do you think two people can fall in love in a week without seeing each other?
No, unless they are actually blind. Like, no.
Wait, is this the show? I've never watched the show. That's the premise of the show?
That is the premise. They sit in pods for a week. They interview 15 people. They basically go on literal blind dates with 15 people. They pick the one that they want to marry after a week, and they propose.
No.
This is a thing.
This is a thing, and at the end of the month...
And I know people are addicted to this show.
Oh,
People love this show.
People devour this show.
That sounds awful.
The drama is intense. It's wild.
Do people actually get married from the show? Like stay married?
I think there's two people that are still married from that show. They
That's a good track
knew each
record.
other for 1 month before getting married.
No.
No. See, I think you need to, like, even if you really are blind, I think it's important to see someone, but if you can't see them, you need to smell them.
Oh, that's a good point.
You have to, like, if you hate someone's smell, it will never last.
But I also think, and this is I know this is going to be a very shallow thing to say, and I know this, but I feel like nobody wants to admit that physical attraction is important in a relationship.
It's the first thing.
It is.
It is, absolutely.
That's not saying that, like, the person that you're attracted to has to be drop dead gorgeous, but you need to be attracted to the person.
Exactly.
So, like, you open those doors and you see somebody standing there is like, yeah, I loved his voice and I loved everything else about him, but you see him and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Is that ever gonna work?
No, I don't think so. Like, for me, I'm typically just not attracted to blonde men. There are men who are objectively attractive that are blonde, like Austin Butler. Think he's a beautiful man, but not my type. If he walked out, I'd be like, he's blonde.
He's blonde.
He's blonde.
That's how I feel about my book boyfriends. If he's blonde, he's out. I'm married to a blonde-haired, blue-eyed man.
You're done.
It's literally going to say she's married to a blonde man.
And they're beautiful people. Like, I mean, people died for blondes. You know what I mean? But it's just not. And my husband was a blonde baby. He's not a blonde adult. But no, I mean, it's just one of those, like, weird things. Like, if I walked out and someone was like, I was looking for someone who was 5'10", not 5'2", like, that might be a big deterrent for them if they're trying to breed tall children.
I think the show is, like, very sad. It just makes me sad because I feel like the people that are on it are so desperate for affection and love that they're willing to turn to this very dark place.
Yeah.
Get it? And it's
Or
just
fame or whatever the hell they're looking for.
Or fame.
That's my question
fame.
here is, like, how many reality television people that go on love shows are going on there to find love? They're going on there to jumpstart a career.
Sure. And God bless them. I wish them all the success.
that wouldn't be the way for me. It's so cringy.
It's not an ideal scenario, but if someone has their eye on the prize and they're like, if I could just get, 100,000 eyes on me, what's an easy way to do it? I maybe you do fall in love in the process, but no, I don't think. I used to watch a show, I think it was on TLC. It's similar to Love is Blind. It's called Married at First Sight.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Do you remember this?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's where, like, they meet each other for, like, and that's it. Like,
They meet at the altar.
What the fuck?
They meet at the altar.
And they get married.
Then, well, they can decide not to. So, like, a couple people have met at the altar and been like, I'm sorry, I can't do this. But they're matched by experts.
Experts.
Yeah. But there are a couple people who are still married. I watched a Chicago season. This is probably like 8 or 9 years ago. And I still follow the couple on Instagram and they're still together. They have 2 little girls.
Wow.
Wild. Yeah.
I'm happy, love. I don't know.
Good for you.
Good for them. It wouldn't.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
But
I always I see The Bachelor and these shows, and they have weddings at the end of the seasons and stuff, and I'm just like, calm the fuck on.
yeah.
And I am, like I said, hopeless romantic. I love a good rom-com at times. There's some good ass rom-coms that I do enjoy. Okay. I just don't. These shows, though, they're so fucking scripted.
Yeah. Oh my god.
A lot of them are so scripted. The producers are in their ears. I love Below Deck.
Yeah.
Below Deck's fucking great.
Yeah.
Okay. One of my favorite reality shows. I watched we just watched the Australia season. Fucking love that show, right? But it is so fucking scripted.
Yeah.
They literally hit a cast member in plain sight. After he got in trouble, he had some allegations come out against him. He was still on the show. They didn't kick him off the show because they recorded it. But they literally hit him with editing for the last 6 episodes. You could see him in the background. And it's these shows are so fucking scripted that I'm just yeah.
They're storyboarding the whole thing. Who's their villain and who's their.
They could literally what people do.
Let me tell you, they know what they're doing because I am consuming it.
Totally.
I'm devouring it.
It's all great editing.
My brain is leaking out of my ears.
It's nice to just turn off and let it absorb and shrivel all the brain cells.
Yeah.
So I did not picture Oprah as being your.
You know what? I didn't either until it just came out of my mouth. But God, do I love that bitch. I am such an Oprah stan. I miss her show. This is funny. My niece is 12. She'll be 13 soon. And I had her after school. And I was like, when I came home from school at 3:30, I used to watch Oprah every day. And she's like, what's Oprah? I was like, you don't know who Oprah Winfrey is?
Blasphemy.
Blasphemy, right? So I'm like, we got to watch an episode.
Straight to jail.
Straight to jail. So we put on an episode of Oprah's Favorite Things. You remember Oprah's Favorite Things?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Of course, vividly.
Of course. It was the highlight of the year. So Oprah's like, you get Uggs, and you get Uggs, and everyone in the audience has gotten Uggs. And everyone's pulling their hair out. They're like, oh my God. And my niece is like, why is everyone so excited about Uggs? I'm like, because they were the tits. This was our childhood. Oprah is the creator of dreams. And she has everything. And she has never married.
That's
I love
interesting.
That for her. I love that for her.
I didn't know she wasn't married.
Because no one fucking deserves her.
But she's been with Stedman for, 40 years maybe?
Okay, he
maybe
deserves
more.
her.
He deserves her. But maybe they'll do this big elaborate. That would be my dream. If Oprah would just marry Stedman. Oh God. Wow.
Listen.
Clip that whole thing. The whole thing. That was great.
I mean,
because they were the
Oprah's
tits.
awesome. I am a fan of Oprah. I haven't seen an Oprah episode in probably 20 years.
You should go back and watch it. They're so good.
But Oprah was always great. So, but we'll talk about. We mentioned them, but the main celebrity couple, that is out there today. Taylor and Travis.
Taylor and Travis, man.
Can you just see though? Okay, if they do tie the knot,
yes,
that will be a spectacle.
It'll be much bigger than the royal weddings.
Oh yeah,
it'll be everything.
That is. She will influence a generation.
Yes.
When she gets married, she will influence a generation of girls that will want things just like how she had it.
Yeah.
We talk about industry shifts. Wedding professionals, brace yourself for this wedding if it happens, because this will be a grand shift. As you said, whatever they do, it's going to be I need this, I need that. And it could change weddings completely.
I could see if there's one person that could influence the wedding industry into anything that they do, it would be Taylor Swift.
Totally.
Yeah.
Because she could choose a photographer, right? And that photographer could be a certain style. Everyone's going to want that style.
That photographer is going to be set for fucking life.
Forever.
But
she could choose a floral arrangement.
Yes.
There you go. That's the style for the
Those
next
flowers
5
for
years.
the next 5 years is going to be Taylor's florals.
oh yeah.
Think about it. She used this band, and they played these songs. People are gonna want those songs.
Totally.
Like, all of the stuff that she does, venues even. Like, she's gonna choose a place, like whether it's a tent in a field or like, a mansion on the California coastline.
Yes.
People will want that style.
Absolutely.
Black and white dance floor. So like, she could have a black and white dance floor, and we'd be like, everybody's gonna want a fucking black and white dance floor. So, it's interesting, like, I was thinking about this, but it's interesting to me that there could be a big cultural shift in weddings because of one person.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy, that kind of power?
It's incredible.
It is unbelievable. I
don't even think she knows it. Like, she probably does.
yeah, I
I could sway an entire industry.
probably, yeah. Well,
Just like an
there's,
evil genius.
all these
Mad scientist Taylor Swift.
Seriously, but all these people think like, Taylor Swift is a psyop or like whatever,
Yeah.
like,
Oh, God.
there's wild people out there, but I mean, she really just built this like unbelievable career and did what she wanted and consistently pivoted to either what she wanted to do or what she thought the masses would like. So I think beyond being, a really great artist, because I think she's a great songwriter and singer, she's like a marketing genius. She really has a deep understanding of the trajectory of where people's attention will go. I think it's really impressive. But yeah, for us, it's like, well, I don't have that kind of foresight. So what the hell are you going to do? And how can I prepare?
Yeah.
It's, I will be excited for the day she settles down.
Totally.
With Travis Kelce. Awesome, because he's awesome. I actually do enjoy him.
I love him. I think he's got a sweet smile. He can throw a football, catch a football. Love that for him.
And he's a great podcaster.
Yes.
Their podcast is awesome.
They're really cute. So like I'm, an Eagles fan. So Jason is our guy, and it's fun to watch them and see him go all out, which, they're cute.
Gotta love it. All right, Lauren, you got the next question.
Okay. This is a winner.
Okay.
Do you have a wedding horror story?
Oh, girl, do I? Oy vey. I
Tell me
have
everything.
A lot of my wedding horror stories lean kind of sad. Oh
no.
I know, but this one, I'm between two. I'll tell this one. Last time we talked about the breastfeeding groom. If anyone wants to hear that, they can
We're gonna link our episode that we were on Adriana's podcast in the show notes. So if you want to listen to that,
It's pretty dark. And you guys had a story as well that time that.
Oh my God.
we still can't tell that
We
story.
still can't talk about it yet.
Yeah,
Sorry
people
guys,
have
too soon.
messaged me and said like, "What was that?" I'm like, I can't say, but one day, Lauren and Mike will be back. Like,
One day we'll come
One
out
day
with
we'll
that.
talk about it. It's too soon. We can't bring it up.
it's
Sorry
dark
guys.
times. It's really dark times. But this one, we'll go with this one today. So this was like probably 5 or so years ago. I had a couple was planning for, and they gave initial deposit. We were like on our way, whatever. The wedding was probably close to a year away. And I got a call from the bride to be, and she says, unfortunately, the groom passed away.
Oh.
So, we're like crying together on the phone, really, really sad. And she asks for her deposit back. And, as any wedding professional, like you have your contracts, all deposits non-refundable. They're in most contracts, as are in mine. But obviously, when the groom dies, it's kind of hard to have a wedding without him. And also I'm not, a monster. So I was like, yes, come get the deposit. So she comes in, she gets it, like we hug, we're on our way. Fast forward like 3 or so weeks. I got a phone call from the groom.
Holy
Shut
shit.
the fuck up.
So he's talking to me about this next deposit, and he's saying like he was short on the money, but he's like, he has it now and whatever. So I'm like, I won't say his name, but I'm like, let's call him Larry. I'm like, Larry, I am so surprised to be hearing from you. He's like, a little thrown off guard. He's like, what? I'm like, are you calling from the beyond? I was under the impression that you were dead. So that turned into a would-be lawsuit. She returned the deposit. And the craziest part about it is, like, if she just came to me and said, I'm calling off the wedding, like, the wedding was a year away. So, like, not much had been done yet. They had, like, just kind of booked me. Like, it's not the same for every situation. And a contract is a contract. So, like, you know, I would have the right to keep the deposit. But in that scenario, if she was like, we're in a pinch and I'm not doing it, I'm leaving this MFR, I'd be like, all right, like, we haven't done much yet. Here's your deposit back. But yeah, she went the death route. And
what the fuck, man?
Okay, so wait.
If you guys were watching that on YouTube or Spotify, you saw our jaws hit the fucking floor.
I have fucking questions.
What
So did I.
Yeah. Holy fucking shit.
Okay, so she told you he died.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And homeboy is oblivious to the fact that he's even been broken up with?
So she broke up with him. There was some kind of, I didn't even get into the details, but from what I surmised, there was some sort of incident that happened between them that seemed that he was at fault.
Okay.
And I think there was also a money factor in that. So
Okay.
he had like promised her a certain amount and then he couldn't come forward with it. Something else happened, straw that broke the camel's back. She was just like, I'm done. I got to get out of this. And he, like, I guess I don't know if she didn't tell him or he was just like calling her bluff. Like, I don't know. Some people are
Hey,
so
Adriana, I'm just here to pay the second deposit.
Yeah, have that next deposit. I'm like,
Larry.
well, I thought you were dead, so.
Oh, Larry.
Oh, Larry. Yeah, these two.
Wow.
So that was pretty funny. And I would never, like, I did look, I'm not going to lie to you, when she first called me, I was like partly ashamed, but I did look up his obit and I couldn't find it, but I was like, you know what? Everyone's circumstances are different. Like, I can't ask her for a death certificate. She just lost her fiance. Like, that's crazy to do. You don't ask someone for that when they've lost someone, but goddamn, I don't know what the right thing
that's
is.
like a low thing to do.
Well,
Like-
my mom said to me, she was like, you have to think if someone is in the position where they are like so desperate that they're going to fake someone's death, like she must have really like been in a pinch.
Yeah.
And I get that, but
Morally, bad news.
it's not.
Damn.
That ain't
good.
it.
Yeah.
That ain't it.
So that's one of my wild ones.
Don't lie about people dying.
You shouldn't. As a rule of thumb, you know, it's not best to lie about a death.
I'm so fucking blown away by this right now.
I did not expect
did not expect that at all. That might be yeah. You want to talk crazy wedding day horror stories? That takes the fucking cake.
Yeah, that's it.
That's the cake. That's the fucking cake right there. I mean, our story is crazy
Your story is crazy.
and awful and disgusting. But
That's all we're going to give you.
we're all going to give you. But that took the cake.
That was something else. Thank you for sharing that with me.
Holy
my pleasure. It's it's one of my favorites to share.
Don't be a garbage person.
Don't be a garbage person.
Don't be a garbage person. Can we please get the
Merch?
Don't be a garbage person. I would love it on a mug, I think.
You
That would
want
be
a
good.
mug? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Okay.
We're working on it.
Noted.
We actually have a design in the works. So
Yay.
Happening.
I will
things are happening.
among the first to order.
All right. So the last question we have for you is, if you were to give one piece of advice for couples planning their wedding in 2024 or 2025, what would it be?
I would say pay attention to trends and things that are going on, but don't base your wedding on trends. There's so much that I say about like projecting this and like this won't be around in the future or this will and this is the next hot thing. But if you really want a 15-person bridal party and a 10-tier cake and like you've dreamed of your wedding in a certain way, do it that way. And conversely, if you are doing something that you're only doing it for the sake of the trend, like, don't do that either, especially if you're just trying to be different. A lot of things are tried and true because they work. So you have to think about logistics too. And I know that's not like a sexy answer, but your wedding day is going to be beautiful and fabulous because you're marrying the love of your life. So if it's really important to you to have, let's say, like an evening ceremony, do it. But if you're just doing it because it's like you're not really that passionate about it and you just think it's going to be like something people talk about, like, think about the logistics because a lot more planning is going to go into it than you had originally thought. So just, I think that would be my best advice.
All right.
Love that.
Just one piece.
Love that. Love that so much. All right. So the last part.
We yoinked from you.
Yeah. We credit you every episode.
Every time we do this with a guest.
Yeah, every time we legitimately credit you every time. So
you guys are awesome.
I think you call this. I think you call this the after party on yours.
Yes,
Okay, so we call it this or that. So rapid fire. You know the drill. Okay.
You got it.
All right, so I'll kick it off. Big wedding or intimate elopement?
Big wedding.
Band or DJ?
Bands.
Really? Elaborate.
I love a band. I love to get down. I love a horn section. I mean, we talked about this. I think we talked about this.
We did.
But, you know, a bad band will really, you know, kill a boner. But if you have a good band, like a nice 10-piecer, go listen to them. Like a good band will really just set you off for the night. And don't get me wrong, I love a good DJ too. I love a nice fusion. You guys have a lot of that over here, like someone on the drums. We don't have that as much in like the Philadelphia area, like the fusion DJ band. But if you can do that, I think it's fabulous. But no, I'm a sucker for like a good band.
Ah, nice. So you're the first person to say band.
You are.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Speaking of music, emo music or boy bands?
It's so tough because my heart is with both, but my core gut says boy band.
I knew it.
Backstreet Girl. I know. I love my Backstreet Boys. Love my NSYNC. Love them all.
It's so hard to choose.
It's so hard to choose. But I was just listening to a lot of emo. Do you guys know emo karaoke?
Yeah.
Okay, so they were like in town recently, so I was just listening through their playlist and I'm like, your lips can go on a body.
I was listening to Bayside when I got here, so I get it.
I was listening to All Time Low.
So we're all losers. Great.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a sign of our generation.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm proud.
I listen to music that's 20 plus years old because the music today sucks. So.
Gen Z thinks we are so cringy.
Hey, whatever. Maybe we are.
Turning into our parents. You realize that?
Don't say that.
No, we are.
Don't say that.
My dad was just like, I can't listen to this rock. I'm putting on AC/DC. And I'm literally my dad. I can't listen to this trash. I'm putting on Taking Back Sunday. I'm turning into my parents.
100%.
Different musical taste.
I know.
All right, Lauren, you get the next one.
I think I know the answer to this, but big bridal party or small/no bridal party?
So small/no is where I'm gonna go with it. But I will say I had a 10-person bridal party.
Of course you did.
A big Italian family, like whatever, the whole nine. But I no regrets and obviously no knocking to anyone because I did it. But gosh, your day will go a lot more smoothly with a small or no bridal party. So from a professional standpoint, selfishly, that's what I like. And I think it looks better and it feels better and all the things.
Okay.
All the things.
All the things. The last one is
This is a big one.
This is a hotly contested debate here at the vendor table. Okay. We need to know chocolate frosty or vanilla frosty.
Oh, you guys. So I'm gonna go. We're talking Wendys.
It's the only place for frosties.
Okay. I am gonna go vanilla.
I'm so disappointed.
I'm sorry, but gosh,
We're ending it now.
In a vanilla frosty.
End it.
So good.
End it.
So
Trash.
good.
Trash.
You're outnumbered.
No.
Don't be a garbage person.
Don't use my words against me.
I am thrilled. We gotta do a tally. We gotta start making the tally.
Yes.
For this one.
Yeah, you know what? It's still going to be 70% of people like chocolate over vanilla.
Well, this one prefers vanilla.
She's the first
Suck
one we
on
asked.
that.
The first one we asked. Did you see that they're actually making a dreamsicle flavor? You know, like yeah. I'm intrigued.
I would try it.
I love creamsicles.
So it depends on which, like, I'm a little picky about them. My family's a big, like, creamsicle family. But, yeah, I would try. I think they would do
I'm
it,
going
right?
to try it. It's probably going to taste like ass, but, you know, it's
Better yet. I don't think that's something I would like.
it's better than they had the pumpkin spice one.
I wouldn't put that anywhere near my mouth
Yeah.
if you paid me
No.
tens of thousands of
The
dollars.
peppermint one either. No. It was
Peppermint? No.
yeah, I hate
like,
peppermint. Ugh.
Like, what's the McDonald's? They do the Shamrock Shake. I don't like any
No.
of the mint stuff.
Milkshake, that was fucking divine.
A McFlurry?
Yes.
I think
Oh, McFlurry? Oh, God. Mm-hmm. My college days. A lot of ganja and a lot of McFlurries.
So good.
Okay.
Wait, do you remember your first high meal?
Yes.
What was it?
It was Wendys.
Mine too.
Really? Oh, you guys.
This is so special.
It is special. Both
I-
Aries, both high Wendy's.
I ate 4 JBCs and like just destroyed.
I also had 4.
Yeah, why not? Just 4 JBCs.
And
I
a
think I
large
had
vanilla frosty.
I had a large fry, a large chocolate frosty, and I think I ordered a 10-piece nugget because I'm a
Oh
psycho.
wow, that's a lot.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
I think I probably hated
I
myself
couldn't
for the
move.
next like week, but you know. But
It's worth it.
oh, it's
That's a
delicious.
special moment.
I want
so
Wendy's now,
good.
so that's fine.
God bless Wendy's. This podcast is sponsored by Wendy's.
That'd be amazing. They have the best social media team ever, by the way.
Ever. Oh my God. I want to meet whoever's writing
Whoever
this.
runs it, they're
The Wendy's
ruthless.
social is unhinged, and I am here for it.
Absolutely.
They're ruthless.
It's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Love every bit of it.
Yes.
Adriana, this has been so much fun.
You guys, thank you so much for having me. You are so fabulous.
We
and
love
I
you.
absolutely love your show. If you have one fan, it is me. If you have no
That's a
fans,
big
I
fan
am
to have.
dead.
I love that.
Listen, if all of our other fans like fell off the face of the earth right now, as long as we had you, I'd be happy.
You guys are the best. This was so fun. I'm so honored to be on. Yeah.
Legitimately, like, we can't thank you enough because you gave us a little platform to speak on when we were not as big as we are today. So we're grateful for you. We said after we finished your episode and it came out and everything, we were like, we got to have her on. We got to have her on at least. And it worked out schedule wise. This has been amazing. Hope you guys enjoyed listening and laughing along because this was ridiculously unhinged. And I loved every second.
This was all over the place.
Just, I don't even know what we talked about.
I could not tell you.
Usually, I rack my brain for the clips. I'm like,
I just know
fuck.
that the word penis was mentioned.
In the first like opening monologue too.
I'm sorry, guys. My ADD takes over, and it's
I fucking love it. It's totally good. All right. Well, we always ask this: where can they find you on social, on everywhere?
You can find me mostly on TikTok and Instagram at _Pre_Nup on both. I'm on the YouTubes as well. Podcast is Apple, Spotify, everywhere you can find podcasts.
Awesome. We're gonna link it in the show notes for you guys.
Yeah.
Lauren, where can they find you?
You can find me at LaurenO'BrienPhoto.com and Lauren O'Brien Photo and the Feral Photog on Instagram. Michael, where can they find you?
At Michael Casaro Photo on Instagram, TikTok, as well as my website. And you can find us at the Vendor Table Pod on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, as well as
Our Facebook group, which is growing every day.
almost 500 members on there. Crazy. Well, guys, it's been fun. We'll catch you next time.
Hey, bye.